YouTube, what the crap's going on? As you can see, it is Beastmen week. I'm going to be focusing on them all week. I've adopted the name President Gorebull to go online with, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about the Beastmen army right now. Just a quick general overview. Low armor, lots of very dangerous monsterish units, especially Minotaurs. And then you have basically lore of Wild and Lore of Beast. Lore of Wild, I haven't found a whole lot of use for it other than a Cygor, but I'll test and see. Lore of Beast actually has some decent buffs and debuffs, and also can spawn a Manticore. Lore of Death, not really sure because I haven't tested this anytime recently. And yeah, so that's just kind of a general overview. What you have is, like I said, lots of monsters, monster-centric. Not really any typical cavalry, so to speak of, but the Minotaurs with great weapons can pretty much fill that role. And then, of course, their only artillery is the Cygor. Anyway, that's a quick look at the Beastmen. Let's go take a look at the first battle I played this week. And I'll show most of my stuff in order. And I'm not going to be able to show every battle, per se. I would expect with Beastmen, you could probably do pretty good versus the Dwarfs. I would expect that you could have a fairly easy time with Chaos, depending on how Chaos plays and how you play. I would think you're going to struggle versus the Empire, and that you would also probably struggle versus the Vampires. So this is a little army I brought versus the Dwarfs. I have a Cygor that I purchased with funds, which is always a little bit risky, but I feel like versus the Dwarfs it could be okay. And if he brings a lot of cannons, it could be a problem. He has brought a gyrocopter. I have a little bit of protection for my men in the form of this one Ungor Raider, just to try and keep him from going unchecked, shooting at my units. I've got a Minotaur on both flanks, and then one Chaos spawn here in the center for the poison. These guys have poison attacks. They're also unbreakable. Here comes my second Cygor. I'm going to force the Dwarfs to attack me. I didn't know I was even targeting Ungrim. That's a decent hit. I thought I was just targeting some of his infantry. Now, he spread his infantry into paper-thin lines in order to try and deal with the possible threat of Cygors, I'm sure. And the Cygors have come, but the paper-thin lines won't allow him any sort of density or protection. So I'm going to go ahead and come attack him. I've got Warherds with shields because I wanted to have some protection against missiles, but this is a dwarf army with no missile units really, which I feel like is a big mistake to try and just go toe-to-toe with the Beastmen. He's got the Runesmith. He's going to go ahead and put the armor on right now. Not really sure why the timing of that. I would think the Rune of Negation would be better right now with all the charges incoming. I've already got an attack order on the Runesmith. I want to kill him. The other Gorebull is going after Ungrim Iron Fist, and then I've got the Chaos Spawn poisoning units in the center. And then I'm swinging my Minotaurs around towards the flank. They're a little bit slow at the moment. And then my Cygors are going to continue firing. Every now and then you can get really good hits with them, even though a unit's in combat. You see I got 3 kills there, 23 kills with the original Cygor. So see, like right there, that was a pretty solid hit, where guys get blobbed up around your guys. I mean, the Cygors can start paying for themselves pretty quickly. This Dwarf Warrior with great weapon comes around the flank. It's a pretty good target for a cheap unit of archers like this. I don't manage to charge away, but I'm going to go ahead and bring in this Minotaurs and clean that unit up. My other Minotaur got into the back of the Dwarfs over here. It's taking fire from the gyrocopters, which is unfortunate, but it's also causing immense damage to the Dwarf infantry in this vicinity. See the Rune of Oath and Steel back up as well. I've got Malagor the Dark Omen just kind of standing back here, trying to support the troops with some morale. I'm going to go ahead and bring him in and try and put a few hits on Ungrim, because Ungrim's distracted with a lot of other units. I feel like if I can tag team him with Gorebull and Malagor, I can get some damage done. Chaos Spawn, doing good at just kind of slowing down any damage the Dwarfs can do, which is not a lot. And then the Minotaurs, you can see, easily mopped up the Dwarf Warrior with great weapon. This Longbeard with great weapon is going to fall prey to them as well. Gyrocopters bombing my men over here, which is definitely good. The low morale Beastmen units aren't going to like getting bombed from gyrocopters. You can see that the Dwarf infantry is easily able to hold their ground against Warherds with shields. These guys didn't put up a very cost-effective fight at all. I'm kind of relying on the Cygors to kill a ton of the infantry, and they're just going to throw their rocks in here while the fight's going on, and there's more of their guys to hit than my own. So that's just the risk that I'm going to have to be willing to take, and I am willing to take that risk. So here we go. My guys are going to plow in over here. We're going to get a fairly straightforward wrap-up going on. So yeah, going to be a pretty easy mop-up operation here, I think, for the most part. It's not going to be a runaway victory for me. I feel like the Warherds with shields were an overspend. I feel like the Cygors are definitely a good spend in the sense that it pressures the Dwarf a lot, and they have a ton of ammo, and I can just kind of sit back and keep hurling. See my Gorebulls are healing. I can basically keep the Dwarf busy while guys continue to fire in, and the Cygor continues to fire in. The Minotaurs continue to do their work. Ungrim is getting torn apart. Malagor is actually starting to die, but he was useful here. He spawned a Cygor. He did a little damage to Ungrim. He supported the morale of my Gore with shields until they routed. So, I mean, it was fine. We got the job done. 56 kills on that Cygor and 37 there, so not great, but not too bad. I decided to actually target the gyrocopters. I don't know if I can hit them, but since the rest of the Dwarf army was kind of falling apart, I was like, why not? I should have had my my Ungor Raiders working on this guy a while ago. I've got more units I'm going to bring back into combat to help support my heroes. Malagor did die, but at this point the Dwarf army is falling apart. So, yeah. You know, again, it depends on the Dwarf army. I think if they bring cannons and they actually put up a pretty decent defensive structure, they have a chance. I think what they're going to fall prey to, and I want to talk about this just a little bit. Let's go ahead and end the replay. And we'll take a look at some of the statistics, and I'll just kind of show you all a thought that I had. So yeah, Minotaurs here getting a ton of work done. The Cygors did fine. They got 100 kills between the two of them, so, and that's a lot when it comes to Dwarfs. So it wasn't bad at all. Gorebulls doing their thing. Goreherd with shield, though, definitely a waste of funds. Doesn't seem like they really perform very well for their price at all. And I find that most Beastmen infantry performs rather poorly in multiplayer. It performs pretty good in campaign because you can get so many redonkulous boosts for Gorebull, but it's quite different whenever you're playing in multiplayer. Let's take a look at a custom battle real quick. Just kind of want to show you. Hey, I was thinking about using a demonstration to kind of show you all how you could use the Potion of Foolhardiness on Gorebull, but I couldn't really get the AI to cooperate the way I want. But basically, I'm not saying it's a great idea, but it's just an idea I'm throwing out there. If you use the Potion of Foolhardiness, you could probably use Gorebull to get to some different places where he shouldn't be. I still haven't honestly found like a great use for cheap infantry from the Beastmen, and I'm not sure that it really gets any work done. You just end up spending a ton of money on it, and I mean, I've never had it return real decent effects yet. I don't know, what do you all think about the Beastmen infantry? Have you found any of them to be useful? Do you just stick with like monsters and other stuff like that? I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts are with the Beastmen. Like, would you think it would be better to bring something like this where you just bring in tons of monsters with a little bit of support? I mean, kind of risky. If you're going to go against the Empire, you definitely need Minotaurs with great weapons to potentially deal with Demigryphs with halberds. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of curious to get your thoughts, what you all like to do. Centigores or any of this other stuff. Do you find any of these to be useful? I mean, just kind of curious to get some thoughts out there on the Beastmen. Hope you all enjoyed a quick look at them tonight. HeirofCarthage, signing out for now. Hope you all are enjoying the videos. Really appreciate you. You're amazing viewers. And appreciate you all watching. And appreciate all the thoughts and comments and replays and everything else you're sending. HeirofCarthage, signing out for now.